bring the museum back to life.
You know, people sit out on the front porch hoping people will come by.
Go forth and do good.
It's insane. I have the most understanding wife in the world.
I treat everybody the same thing.
Oh, that's the other thing I love about Marietta. It's like a melting pot.
You are listening to Marietta Stories. Each week, veteran podcaster Bill Nowicki brings you the heartwarming, interesting, and fun stories from the people that make the community of Marietta, Georgia, a place to call home. Here's your host, Bill Nowicki.
All right. You might remember that I had Thomas Monti on the show earlier, once before, and his partner, Justin Waller. But today I talked to Thomas, and I really get in depth, not only about Schoolhouse Brewing, which is killing it, by the way, but the importance of buying local, Marietta, the community, all that stuff that really Thomas and I are both passionate about. And I left this interview really excited, and I think you will too. So please give a listen to Thomas Monti and all the fun things they have going at Schoolhouse Brewing in Marietta. All right, Thomas Monti from Schoolhouse Brewing here in Marietta on Franklin Gateway, off of Franklin Gateway. What's new with Schoolhouse Brewing? Share.
Wow, it has been almost 7 months, I guess, since we opened up, and we're growing and growing and growing every single day, having a blast out here, loving being in Marietta, staying in our home city where we really do enjoy the craft beer scene. Being this close to 285-75, we're one exit off. It's just amazing. So, yeah, everything's good. We've actually brewed, up to this point, 78 unique batches.
Really? Yeah, and one of the things we talked about in the first episode that we had with you is all this stuff's available. So if you're a home brewer, you want to make the exact same beer, you can do it.
Yeah, we call it open source, rotating brewery, and we like to say that we remove the curtain away from the wizard, and you get to see what's behind it. And we love giving our recipes away. We've actually given some recipes away to other breweries, actually. Love seeing that happen and see what they can do with it. But yeah, you can come in, ask for a recipe, come on in and get it. And when the rotating brewery part is that we never brew the same batch twice. So every time you come in, you're going to see unique beers. It's something that no one else is doing that we know of. It's become fun, and I love when people come back and go, hey, when are you going to put Man-Child back on? Or when are you going to, do this one again? And we're like, we won't. But the next one will be better. We promise.
Yeah, I was amazed. I came here the other night with my girlfriend, and I had just chose one to try. And I was like, man, this is really good. And I tried hers. I was like, this is really good too. They're all different, but they have these unique flavors. And it's a great place to hang out. We played ping pong. We did selfie. You got a selfie thing set up. There was music. There's a lot of stuff to do to bring a crowd to and have a good time. And the decor with the schoolhouse and the old benches from the school buses. And it's just such a cool place. The branding, everything just aligned. Hanging out here is just special.
Well, thank you. When we chose this location and we started designing it, one of our partners' wife, Stacy Harris, is, I have to say, the most creative person when it comes to design. And we really wanted it so it was open space, that you could see everything going on, but there's all these little areas that you and your friends or you and your family can sit down and have your own space, but still be part of the action. Mm-hmm. We wanted it to be inviting. We have our beer garden open now outside with three fire pits. In the spring and summer, the bands play outside. We've got a TV that goes outside when it's nice. I mean, we really do want you to stay and be part of the action.
Games? You got games?
Oh, man, we've got more games than you know. We actually turned one room into a video game room, and we're about to actually blow that up even more. So we've got like a Nintendo Switch, and we've got a PS4, so you can come in and play. There's a movie projector in there, so you can choose your own movie and sit and watch. We've got ping pong table, which one of our local businesses on our first day open rolled it in and said, we're not using it anymore. You guys need this. We thought it was crazy, but people play ping pong all the time. Another great friend of ours gave us a foosball table. We've got putting green outside. Yeah, cornhole, of course, everybody's got it. But if you haven't noticed, we do everything a little different than everybody else. We like to say we want to set trends, not follow them. That's kind of a motto that we're at right now with our brewery. And if you ask any one of our employees, hey, are you guys following trends? They'll look at you and say, no, Schoolhouse sets trends. We don't follow them.
Well, it's funny. It's a schoolhouse, but wouldn't it be great if this was like school?
It would be,
The schools were like this, I should say.
Well, yeah.
Not the beer, mate.
Well, but I was a teacher for, almost 20 years, and I do bring a lot of that in. People ask all the time, how do you do this? And I want to educate. That's one of our taglines and it's on all of our shirts and everything. It says where education meets recess. And we really believe that. Yeah, that we built the brand on that we want to give everybody the experience in craft beer that they deserve.
All right, let's talk about, let's say I'm thinking about home brewing. Well, how do you get started? What types of things do you tell people when they're first getting started, and how can you help them?
Okay, first thing we say, we always say, first it's crawl, walk, run. Don't think you're going to come in here and magically become a head brewer. It's a hobby. Treat it as a hobby.
Keep it fun.
Yeah, keep it fun. Every hobby, you have a learning curve to it. And there's a little bit of entry cost to it. But home brewing, believe it or not, you could start home brewing with your first batch of beer for as little as $200. And like right now, talking about education, we have a deal going on right now where you get a class with me on the 26th, your first recipe and all the equipment you need to brew that beer for $199. Wow. We're trying to get people excited about it. And if you think of it like when you first start baking a cake, you don't go out and get the flour and the sugar and all that. You go get a Duncan Hines box. And that's what we want for you. You're going to make good beer. It's not going to be your grandmother's cake. But if you keep practicing and keep doing it, you're going to have your grandmother's cake of beer eventually, and you will just have so much fun. I love seeing people come in, brew their first batch of beer, and hand it out to their friends, and they're so proud of it. And they're like, and it was actually good. I love that we always get the actually good. And
well, you don't want to hand somebody your first batch of beer and they're like, that's not very good. And the next one, they're like, no, thanks.
Yeah.
You want to hook them on your brand.
Exactly. And we did a whole YouTube series, our YouTube channel, Schoolhouse Brewing's YouTube channel. The first videos we ever produced were how introductory home brewing, and we chaptered them because I hate YouTube that the videos are like an hour long and all I need to see is the one thing. We chaptered them, so each chapter is, okay, this is what it looks like to boil the water. This is what it looks like to add the hops. This is what it looks like to clean your...
From a teacher.
Yeah, from a teacher. You got to give everybody bite-sized pieces of information, because if you force an elephant on somebody to eat, you can't do it. And the old saying is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And you just have to give everybody the chance to learn at their own pace.
Yeah, and I just noticed the QR code stuff you got here, and you're trying to talk about that. What are you trying to accomplish with the QR code stuff, the best brewery?
Yeah, well, actually, there's two things going on with us right now. We've partnered with another local tech company called Locator X, and we're going to be going online with them, and we're using QR codes to track our inventory. So what I thought was, I love marketing. If you follow me on YouTube or if you follow me on any of my social media pages, you'll see that we have fun doing it. The QR codes are just a way for people to get some buy-in. One of them that we're doing right now is you scan the QR code and you get to choose the next beer that we brew. And one of the people, whatever style wins, one of the people that voted for it are going to be able to name the beer themselves. So we want you to have buy-in. We don't look at people as our customers. They're our friends and families. Every person that comes in, I call them brother. I want to know about your family. I have built this brand on being just me and Justin being just him. And we love that camaraderie that we've gotten and the amount of friends that we have made just by introducing them to craft beer. Funny thing is, we just got named Best New Brewery in Georgia by Beer Guys Radio. They're a podcast also. Check them out. They've been doing this for 4 years. There were like 2,000 people voted for the Best New Brewery in Georgia. So we were very proud of that. And today starts Best of Cobb County, if you didn't know. Well, today being the 29th of December. We're going to have a QR code out there again. So if you really love us, we would love that vote. We're not pandering. We're not saying, hey, vote for us just because you want to vote for us. Be honest. I mean, there's some great breweries on there. Dry County, Red Hair, Burn Hickory, all these great breweries. And if you love those breweries, let them know. Vote for them. And, hopefully we're the ones you want to vote for. Please.
Yeah, and it is amazing that just in the last few years, these new companies that are out there and they like yours that have really helped put Marietta on the map, and it's kind of transforming the way Marietta is seen in the wider Atlanta area.
Yeah, when I first moved here from North Carolina, I was living over on Glenwood Avenue in East Atlanta and commuting to Marietta Middle School where I was a teacher. And the more and more I got to know people in Marietta, I decided that's where I want to live, because Marietta is such a unique area that it's one big family, but we're a huge city. And everybody looks at Marietta like, oh, you're out in the sticks. We're one exit away from Atlanta. That's why we chose to help with Franklin Gateway. We looked all through Cobb County. We might have ended up in Kennesaw at one point, but Justin and I both looked at each other and said, we have to stay Marietta proper.
All right, I got Elizabeth Denny with me. Since we started Marietta Stories 3 years ago, Johnny Walker Realty has grown tremendously.
When I joined, I was the fourth agent besides Johnny and Carrie, so there were 6 of us. And now I believe there are 25 of us. So, yeah.
Man, somebody's got to cook for all those people when you have a company thing, don't you?
Thankfully, we have more cooks now, so it works out.
We got the Marietta Market at the square. We have one of the best farmers markets. Restaurants are great. There's lots to do around the square. Folks moved away from the square in the 80s. Now they're all coming back, and now's the time to work with Johnny Walker Realty. They're at 262 Church Street. You go to johnnywalkerrealty.com or call them up at
678-626-0403.
Be somebody and be Marietta strong. And we love the Franklin Gateway. We love the diversity out here. The food, I call Franklin Gateway right now the Buford Highway of the North. It is some of the best food that you can have is these little mom and pop restaurants on this strip.
Jerusalem Bakery.
Oh, stop. I know.
I love that place.
I can't. There's a little Jamaican spot down here.
Really? I remember. What is it?
I can't remember the name.
It's called Golden Tropics, helping Thomas out.
Jamaican spot. We've got 2 amazing. One is a Honduran.
Brisas de Tela. That's the Honduran one, and the Mexican one is called Costa Mar.
Specializes in seafood. Havali.
Havali is an Indian restaurant. So
years, and we love them.
A lot of ethnicity.
Yeah, and we love the diversity. Franklin Gateway has changed, and thanks for the leadership of Marietta, Mayor Tumlin, Thunder, and everybody on the board. They're focusing on making Marietta great. We love supporting them. They love supporting us. I mean, even down to like Bert Reeves is one of the guys who comes in here. He plays in a band that plays here. and he's one of our representatives. We love it.
So talk about 2020. What do you got coming up? New, you're brewing new beers. What are some of the new beers and then activities you got going on?
Well, 2020 is big for us. We've already hit capacity, which we didn't see coming. So we're doing everything we can in the back end of the structure to make sure that we can still put all the beers out we want. We've got our sour program going on, and it's a true sour program where we're barrel aging beers in white wine barrels, red wine barrels, rum barrels, and we're letting them sit there for 6 months to a year to maturate, so they will just be unbelievable.
What'll be the different taste? I'm going to pull you off to what tastes different about the aging?
Well, especially with sour beers, if you've never had a sour beer, and not like a Berliner Weiss, a tart beer. A sour beer is
it's not like Beechwood aged.
No.
My brother worked for Anheuser-Busch. He said it's like 6 hours of Beechwood aged.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can say that it has everything in it if it just touches it, but no. If you think of sour beers as the wine, the vintnering of beer making, it's been around for hundreds of years. We actually put Brettanomyces in there, and Brett actually makes it very sour, and the pH goes down really low. But when we add them to wine barrels or rum barrels, we pick up those flavors also to mellow it out. And those are going to be great. We've got our Brunch AF, which is our next stout release, should be 1st of 2020. It is a Maker's Mark. We put stout in 2 Maker's Mark barrels and 3 maple syrup barrels with a coffee stout, which we called Woke AF, and we're going to blend those 3 things together, and it's going to be a coffee, whiskey, maple syrup stout. Brunch in a glass. We just started making our ciders, which we're really excited about. I made a super dry cider using champagne yeast, so I'm really excited about the cider stuff that we're working on. We've got some other things in the works that we can't talk about yet that we're very excited that we're talking to some people about that really could change the game for us in 2020. Stay tuned. Trust me. Yeah. And we've got some other stuff. We're going to be doing crazy things, more classes. We've got the home brew club starting back. If you want to get into home brewing, we've got a great group of guys that meet once a month, and they're going to be meeting at American Axe up the street up here. They'll go there and then come back over here, have a few beers, and make it an evening, 3rd Thursday of every month. We hope to keep growing. We're going to stay as small as we can.
I know what you mean, though. Once you go to that next level, it's hard to keep that whole feeling of community, I guess.
It is. I talk to a lot of good friends that are at the same place that I am, kind of like over at Go Forth Goods. He and I talk quite regularly, and that's one of the things is where's that line of demarcation of, do we want to go to the next step?
By the way, that's Nathan Martin. I had him on season 1 of Marietta Stories, goforthgoods.com.
And we had to make some hard choices. We're not canning. The reason why we're not canning is we don't want to be in Kroger. We do not want to be in Publix. We want you to know your brewer. We want you to come here, sit down, have a glass of beer with me. I think we're one of the only breweries in the state that you can come in here regularly and ask for me, and I will love to have a conversation.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like the farmer's market versus the supermarket.
It is. My children know this. I went on a rant one day. I really did, because I couldn't. It's hard to buy just necessities. Toothpaste. You can't go to a locally owned business almost anywhere and buy toothpaste. Well, now I did. I figured it out. I go to Pool's Grocery.
Thomas is talking about Pool's Pharmacy, who I had on the show, Mr. Thomas Scherer, and he's over on Whitlock Avenue.
And buy toothpaste. I'm trying my best to support the local economy, because the other side of that is 70 cents of every dollar that you spend in a local business goes back to your community. either in taxes, in wages, and infrastructure. And we are the backbone, and we love that Marietta believes that, and they are saving the Main Street businesses. And in the 80s and 90s, we all saw that go to the complete opposite way. And now we see where it's happening to the malls, which is sad, but you know what? Support your local people. And if you need a suggestion on a local business, hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If I don't know it, I will ask and find it.
Yeah, and I know you. I know Pools Pharmacy folks. I know all these different people that run these places. It's an honor to bring their stories because they're working hard every stinking day to keep those businesses going and make Marietta great. I mean, that's what it ends up doing. Like you said, 70% of it comes back to the community.
Yeah. You look at just our restaurant scene in Marietta.
Yeah, I saw you over at what's the name of that place? The Spanish tapas place?
Oh, yes, Del Toro. That just opened up. Those guys are doing great. Eddie at Kiosco. I have been supporting Eddie for I don't even know how long. I love that kid. He's not a kid anymore, but I love that.
Looks like a kid.
He does, doesn't he? Jeff Bird at Two Birds. Love the Bird family. You know, these are true people that cut their chops and made their lives part of Marietta. And they, you know, we bleed blue in this area to see how well. I mean, I got to give a shout out to our football team, state champions. We do it different in Marietta, but we love it. And more people that come up here. I love when people are saying, you know, we're moving out of the city. I'm thinking about a suburb. I give them names of attorneys. I give them names of realtors. I give them names of mortgage companies. And I say, you want to live here. I promise you.
Yeah, it is something special. I've been doing a number of these interviews, and it's amazing how there's something different about it. And I definitely think there's something different about what you bring to the table. I love just interviewing folks like you because I get excited at the end.
Well, thank you. Well, and, you know, we hope that we are bringing a lot to the table. You know, I had the old shop over on Whitlock Avenue. We needed to close that down, and there was twofold to that. With big box stores getting into the craft beer selling game, it was hard for somebody like me to keep those doors open. But the state law says I couldn't have two different licenses. I couldn't have a retail package license and a manufacturing license. So I went with my dream of my always dream with my best friend Justin in the world, and we opened this wonderful brewery in Marietta once again. And you know, we've got Red Hair right down the street. Bobby Thomas is a great friend. He helps us out immensely. The guys over at Viking Alchemist, they're great people. We've got Tree Horde Cidery. We've got another cidery coming into Marietta. This scene is such a friendship scene.
Not competitive.
No, I mean, Glover Park needed some grain the other day. They called me up and said, hey, do you have 10 pounds of Carafa 3 Special? And I was like, yeah, come get it. And they came in and they're like, how much do I owe you? I was like, dude, you don't owe me anything. One day I'm going to need something. And do you ever pay back a cup of sugar from your neighbor? No, you make sure next time they need sugar.
Right. It does take a village, and it's a great village to be in, Marietta, Georgia.
It is. My wife and I are Marietta proud. Kathy, my love, she was the systems teacher of the year at one point. Her hands are on the square. So, I mean, we do have ties here. All 4 of our kids went through Marietta High. Our last one's still in Marietta High. She's a sophomore right now. We're as Marietta as anybody else right now, and that I love saying that. Where are you from? Marietta.
Well, great, and it was great catching up with you, Thomas, and all the best in the 2020, and can't wait to hear more about all you have going on.
Thanks, and like I said, the Best of Cobb is coming up. Please vote.
Put the link.
Yes, we'll get the link for you. Sign up for our email lists. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We do crazy things. It's not just us selling beer. It's usually us doing something stupid just to make you smile.
Sounds great. Take care.
Cheers.
Wow, I really think Thomas Monti and his partner Justin Waller have built a great business out there at Schoolhouse Brewing. on Franklin Gateway. So check them out. I'll put some things in the show notes. Might want to sign up for a class, just play some ping pong, whatever it is. And please tell a couple friends about Marietta Stories podcast. It really helps get noticed. And I want to help Marietta become even better in 2020. So please do that. And if you have a minute, do a podcast review on the podcast app. It helps us get known. This is Bill Nowicki saying thanks for listening.